The subject that we'll be discussing today is the Bhagavatam, and today is the Scion of the mighty Pandavas. But we may take 1 or 2 classes to complete the whole chapter. But let's begin with this. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishwadharam Gagana Sadrisham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Vidhyanagamyam Bande Vishnu Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaikanatham. In Hinduism, the conception that God is all-pervading. God can never have any form. But at the same time, understanding the condition of different minds, the people who won't be able to understand that subtlety, the conception of Vishnu has come. The Vishnu is also all-pervading. Vistareti Vishnaham. The Vishnu is all-pervading. At the same time, he is having a form, and we just described that form. And so it is possible for us to concentrate our mind on that. That is the beauty of the Hinduism. All the time, in different ways, in different fashion, different manner, different words, trying us to lead to that path. However it is possible, you love the form, it is for you. You don't like, it's okay, another for you. So this way, every step there's a possible, but every human being should try to reach to God. Bhagavatam, though basically it is said the book of love, but now and then the knowledge stepped in, and that knowledge which we find in the Veda. We have already studied some portion, and today we will study the Scion of the mighty Pandavas. We know that Bhishma, the great-grandfather, is a great knowledge that he was having. He gave that knowledge to the Yudhishthira. And this also, I will say, in the language of the law, may be noted, point to be noted. So the knowledge transmitting. What is knowledge? Knowledge is the combination of 5 actions. First is observation. Second, discrimination. Third, utilization. Fourth, preservation. Fifth, transmission. The animals and birds, they also do it. They also observe, they also discriminate, they also utilize. But the last 2, preservation and transmission, they can't do that way. But human being can do. And that is the reason all the knowledge that a person has acquired, he gives it to the next generation. Uttar Purusha. Uttar Purusha, the next generation, he is handing them over. So Bhishma also, and who inspired? Krishna. He told, you better go and learn from him. Krishna could say, but no, he wants that the devotee should be getting these great names. The Bhishma is a learned person. What knowledge? Knowledge of God. And who is the God? Krishna. But the knowledge who has come in the form of Krishna, he is not telling anything. He is rather asking Yudhishthira to go and listen from the Bhishma. And Bhishma gave that knowledge. And he gave a discourse on dharma, artha, kama and moksha. In the Mahabharata we find that dharma, artha, kama, moksha complete. I gave a retreat on these four, dharma, artha and kama, moksha. Because our life, human life, is in the frame with these four. And also merits of charity. Separately, he is telling the merits of charity. Why? This is very, very important. What we are having, if we can give it to others, and when we are giving it without reserving anything, that is also a great thing. Without anything preserving when we give, that is called the dana. But the important thing is when you are giving it, to whom you are giving it, why you are giving it, that also should be considered. Otherwise, the dana's effect will be completely different. So this Bhishma knew. So because Yudhishthira had the habit of giving, the kings are supposed to give. So that was the economy. Kings used to get money from the subjects and again they used to give it back to them. So this way, now also the same thing is happening. So that is the merit of charity and duties of kings and various other matters. This is important. Why? Because if the king is not just, if he makes any mistakes, then the population will suffer. It's a one-man decision, but the suffering for the all. So that's why king should be perfect. And nowadays the ministers who are choosing the people are choosing them. So they should also understand this. This is the knowledge. Otherwise, who is suffering? People. So you have to understand this, and that's why the Bhishma says that. And the other matters to King Yudhishthira said with great earnestness, I do dedicate unto the feet of the Lord. The Bhishma is telling now, after finishing his job. Why he said? Because Krishna told. And who is Krishna? He is Ishtadevata. But Krishna in that form was not the Ishtadevata of Bhishma. It was Vishnu. But through his spiritual practices, Bhishma could see the Vishnu very much present in the form of Krishna. So he prayed that Krishna should come before my death. Krishna came. And he should say, when I am leaving my body, my Ishtadevata should be with me standing. And Krishna was standing over there. Now you see what he is doing, the great Bhishma. This is to learn from the scripture. I do dedicate unto the feet of the Lord, ever merciful, the prime being, Sri Krishna. Prime being, he knows, it's the only being. But this is in the form of Sri Krishna. I dedicate myself. Then what he did? Sutta, who was expounding the whole story, described the great moment in the life of Bhishma, saying, Bhishma concentrated his mind, speech and sight upon Sri Krishna. His mind, his speech and sight upon Sri Krishna. He concentrated. That is the last moment. If we can do that, that is the great practice. Whole life we are practicing. But for what? Because this moment will come. When the clutches of death comes, then we forget everything. It's so painful. And the claw of the death is so powerful. We cannot go beyond that. And this moment, Bhishma concentrating his mind and speech, he is not telling anything. The mind is not thinking anything except the Krishna, except the God. So we must learn this point. There are so many stories are there, long stories of the Bhagavatam. But now you see the last moment of the Bhishma, what he is doing, what has been told again and again in Bhagavad Gita and also by Sri Ramakrishna. You must get ready for this particular day. Concentrating the mind, that means he is not thinking anything except Ishtadevata. Concentrating the speech, that means he is not telling anything except the name of the Ishtadevata. And he is not seeing anything except that great Lord. So the sight upon Krishna. That this should be the training, the last moment training on seeing the great grandfather merging into the Brahman, indescribable Brahman. He was looking at the Krishna. But the Sutta and the Rishis and the holy people who were all around, they don't see that he is merging with the Krishna. They saw he is merging with the Brahman. The all present became silent. That is the way we always respect the death. Not by crying, not by shouting, but by silence. Why? Because immediately our mind is also withdrawn and we are happy that it should go and merge. There is a group of people, after the death, they'll be singing and dancing and beating the drums. Why? Because sometimes it's really very peculiar to see the person is dead and why these people are dancing. The philosophy is, now he is free from this cage of the body and now he has gone back to the source. In the Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, 9th verse, we know that Krishna himself is telling, Janma karma chame divyam yo evam yo vetti tattata. Me, the Krishna, I am not as you see me. This is the mystery of the avatar. When you see the avatar, he is also eating, sleeping, chatting, just normal like the human. But at the same time, something very, very special in his life. And that proves that he doesn't belong to us, though he is so close to us, as if Janma karma, my birth and my work, divyam, this is divine. The purpose, the whole purpose is divine. Yo evam yo vetti tattataha. The one who has understood this correctly, what happens? Taktva deham punarjanma. After the death, he never comes back. He gets the mukti. Taktva deham punarjanma naiti mamiti sorjuna. And he comes to me. And the me means the God, merges with the God. And that is the ultimate of the jiva. This jiva is traveling, and that the soul ultimately merges into the source. That is what Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said. He said that Ishwar Labh Manushya Jivane Uddeshya. The God realization is the goal of every human being. And how? Sri Ramakrishna said, it is very easy if you can understand the divine purpose of an avatara. If you see an avatara, you see the God. Lord Jesus also said, those who have seen the Son have seen the Father. So these avatars, they have the image of God. All this is over. With the death of the Bhishma ended a period and began a new era. Before leaving for Dwarka, Sri Krishna performed two works. One, protecting the Parikshit in his mother's womb, saved from extinction of the clan of the Kurus, because he promised. I will save you, protect you. So that is the Krishna he did. And that is his divine power. And second, establishing Yudhishthira as the king to rule the kingdom. Why this second is so important? Because Yudhishthira was not at all interested to take the responsibility of the king. Because constantly he was thinking the life is all this much. So I have to live and I have to practice meditation, I have to practice spirituality, etc. Now this man was the best person to become a king. Why? Not attached. Those who are constantly eager to grab the power, we have to be careful about them. Because to keep the power, they can do anything. But those who are just for the sake of the people, for the good of the people, they are taking the power. They will be the great kings. Yudhishthira, he was not at all interested, but the Krishna told no. So we find that in the book, the 1, and the chapter 10, and verse 2, Vangsham Kuru Vangsha Davagni Nirhatam Samrohitva Bhavo Bhavana Harihi Niveshaitta Nijarajya Isharo Yudhishtiram Pritamana Bhabuvaha. And he is very happy now, Krishna. Why? Pritamana. He is very happy. I have performed my duty. And his duty was to establish the Yudhishthira. And that is also very important. Otherwise, the whole human society will break down. If the administration is not proper, if constantly the problems are going on, all the moral values will break down. So that is the reason. And because his mission was fulfilled, he is now going back to Dwarka. Yudhishthira was a just king. During his rule, his subjects were free from the worries and diseases. And also they were free from the troubles caused by supernatural causes. They always say, in India, they always think, if the leader is good, because of his good behavior and also the good character, everything will be good. So that is the reason it happens. I was in a flight in India, it was in a turmoil and everybody was afraid. Then someone told, Swamiji is here with us, why you are afraid? I don't know, I am also afraid. But anyway, together we can pray. But the people, they always think, and that is the wonderful thing. Whenever some holy people are there, good people are there, not that all the time sannyasi, in the household also so many good people are there. So their presence comes to the result of that goodness percolates to all people. And that is why when we are choosing the leader, we have to choose a good one whose character is good. And a good manner, good behavior and good character person will be an excellent leader. Maybe that he cannot speak properly or these and that, doesn't matter. Decisions will be perfect. Whatever decisions he will take, that will be perfect. And this is the training we get. And to the great joy of the king Yudhishthira and his brothers, at an auspicious moment when all the planets stood in the favorable position, Uttara, the widow queen of the Arjuna's son Abhimanyu, gave birth of a baby boy. The learned Brahmanas who were present said, O king, since Vishnuna, Prabha Vishnuna, Bah Anugraharthaya Esha Rahataha, the most powerful Vishnu in contemplation to you gave this boy as a gift. Rahata means gift. Prabha Vishnu means the great powerful. Who? The Vishnu. Tasmat Vishnu Rata iti namna loke bhavishyati. Let the boy be named as Vishnu Ratha. That means the gift of Vishnu. You can also remember this to give the name of the baby, Vishnu Ratha. Sometimes some people they request, they request, Swamiji, can you give a good name for the child? And if I give this name, they won't take it. Vishnu Ratha, no, it is too complicated. So this Vishnu Ratha is a wonderful meaning. It is a gift of the Lord Vishnu. And why the rishis are so happy? It says the auspicious moment. What is the auspicious moment? All the planets stood in favorable position. You know that horoscope, some of the people, so perfectly they can say. So perfectly they can calculate, but you have to give the exact time of your birth and the date and the position of your birth. Even in Chicago, there are so many positions. I was born in Chicago, won't help. You have to give the specific position and the date and the time. They can calculate. Still some people are there. That something happened in my life when I was a very young boy. I was in the standard of, I think, 1 or 2. That very small kid. I came back from the school and I was just crossing that small courtyard of our house. The one gentleman was sitting over there with the other seniors. I was just running, as all the children they do. I was running with the bag full of books and all, and I was hungry, and after that I have to go for a play, all those things. And that man saw me that running and said, this boy is not going to be married. And the whole family started, oh, what will happen to him? Then I came to know that they are discussing about that this boy is not going to be married. I thought I am going to lose something. So I started crying. Why? Everybody is going to marry and why should I not? Then somehow they told, okay, that we will take care, you need not to. It is after another 25 years, a long time, so we will manage. But look at it. Really it happened in my life. Then casually he commented. Something is there, we cannot just deny. Oh no, it is all false. No, so most of the people, they do not know, they wrongly calculate, and sometimes they'll be telling something which is not correct. That is the reason we loses our respect for this particular science. But in those days, the rishis were very, very capable. And he is telling like this, that afterwards the Lord protecting the child from the fire of the Ishatmananda's weapon. And then comes Vishnu Ratha is well known as Parikshita. We don't know that much about the Vishnu Ratha, but we all know Parikshit. Anyone associated with the Indian scripture, they know Parikshit, the king Parikshit. Why? Why this name Parikshit? While in the womb of his mother at 10 months, and scorched as he was then by the fiery Brahmastra of the Ishatmananda, that infant, behold, a being of the dimension of a thumb. The infant could not forget that divine being. The infant, he was not born yet, in the womb, observed that a divine being, so many slokas are there on this, and describing the dress and the armor and all those things, and it was there protecting the baby, and baby was observing in the womb. After the birth, he would go on searching for that person, examining each and every one. Sa Isha Loke Vikhyata Parikshit Iti. He was doing the pariksha. He was constantly observing, is this the man? Is this the man I saw? Is this the... And he was not satisfied. When he was going on examining each and every one, when he was a small baby and then he was a young boy, the people told, oh, every time he is examining Pariksha, so his name became Parikshit. So this is the Parikshit. While Parikshit was growing up, many different things started happening. First, Vidura came back. We know the Vidura, the great soul, and though he was born in a Sudra, is a down, in our country the caste is there. In that, the mother was not high caste, but still he was a very respected person, this Vidura. And he was a very close relative of the Pandavas. He came back after a long, undisclosed pilgrimage. Now when the great war was over, the many people were doing many things. Vidura secretly left everyone and he started going to the pilgrimages. Now when catastrophe happened, the people, they always tried to get the solace. Now the whole story started with some of the hundreds of the rishis. They came into a forest and they were practicing austerity. Then they heard a person is singing beautifully, describing some story. They went over there and told, who are you? And the wonderful stories that you were singing, can you please tell us? So the whole Bhagavatam started. This is called Sutta. And here also we find this particular person, Vidura, without telling anyone, he left and he was going on searching for the peace. Why this happened? Why this happened? So he was going on. Then ultimately he met Maitreya, a very learned rishi. He started staying with him. Afterwards he disclosed. And he started staying over there. Yudhishthira and others, they were thinking that he is no more. There's so many people died. Maybe he has also been passed in that way or killed somewhere. But Vidura, he went, he got training, and not only that, he was already trained. So when he went and sat with the Maitreya, there he realized the Brahman, Atma Jnana. After the realization, after having that Atma Jnana, then he felt, I can now leave my body because the purpose of my life is over. But what will happen to my family and people? So he came back. And how he is helping, we will hear. The Vidura, that pious man, he came back. And the first skanda, the book, 13th chapter and 15th verse, very clearly mentioned that Vidura was in reality Yama, the king of death. So this is also very interesting to learn. This was the Vidura, though he was born in a low caste family, of course he was the son of a great person, but why it happened? Because of a curse. The Yama, he took that birth. He was born as a human for 100 years due to the curse of the sage Mandapya. So one after another, the stories is very difficult to control because so many stories, they goes on this way and that way, and very interesting stories. And naturally the curiosities, they take us to at all these different stories. Those who are interested, you can learn this. Even the children's book are there. From there also you can learn. The life of the Yama and the Vidura. This is beautiful, beautiful books are there. The Yama Shapat. Yama, he was Shapat, he was cursed. The Mandibba Rishi, he gave that curse. Varshashatam Yavat Shudratam Dadhara. What is this Shudrata? Again and again, this Shudrata is not the caste, it is the culture. That they are considered as a low cultured people. When you are going and meeting some people, how you are talking, your voice, and the pitch of your voice, your movement, your dress, everything gives whether you are from the Shudra or from the higher caste. So that is the culture one should understand. When Swami Vivekananda came over here, his color was totally different. The most of the Americans, they were wondering, but this man walks like a king. Because of his family and also the self-confidence, he used to walk in such a way, people used to wonder. In France, when he was entering into a hotel, that gentleman standing at the door and the gate, he saluted him and said, "Oh king, from which kingdom you are?" Vivekananda stopped and said, "I am not a king, rather I am a beggar, I am a sannyasi." "Don't say that, sir. I know, I have seen so many kings. The Indian kings used to come to the Europe. So I have seen so many kings. I know that you are a king." He smiled and entered. But because of the way that he used to behave. And here, the Mandavya, he is giving the shapa, the curse to the Vidura, that you should be considered as a Shudra. Shudra means uncultured. But because he was also the god Yama, his behavior was excellent. Everyone accepted him. Why this curse? The story goes in this way. The Yama is supposed to be giving the punishment. Then it happened in this way, that a few people, they were taking some goods, and they came and stopped in the Mandavya Rishi, in the cottage of the Mandavya Rishi. Mandavya Rishi was not aware of it. He was practicing austerity in the night, and these people were there. The king's people came, they arrested them, they took away the Mandavya Rishi also. But the king didn't think in that way, whether they are good people or not. He didn't judge. What happened? These are the things. Whatever the report he got, immediately he said, put them on the shula. You know that very sharpened thing, the people used to be forcefully sitting on that, and they slowly died, very painful death. This Mandavya Rishi was also got the same punishment without any fault. So he was sitting over there. But the other people, they died. Mandavya was perfect. Not only that, he was going on chanting the name of God and giving the discourses, and hearing that, many rishis they came over there, and every night they used to sit over there to listen the discourse from the Mandavya. This is really mysterious. He could control, and he could sit over there in that way and can talk to the people. Then the news reached to the king, and the king came and told, "This is my fault, O Rishi. I never knew that you are also in that group. I am so sorry." Then the Mandavya didn't say anything, but he went to the Yama. He told, "Why you gave me so much a punishment? You knew that I didn't do anything." Yama told, "No, it was written that when you were a 6 or 8 years old boy, you tortured the one insect. So that is the reason." Then he said, 8 years, 6 years, 8 years boy, and I was not having any idea, by mistake I did, and for that this much punishment? You are not fit to be a Yama. Then the Mandavya gave the curse, "No, you Yama, you are not fit." So this was the power of the rishis, the tremendous power, that they used to constantly keep the balance. He was not the Yama, he was not taking the power, but he had the power to control these people. The Yama told, "I am sorry." And Mandavya told, then afterwards, if the boy is not attaining the 16 years, whatever the wrong he does should not be taken so seriously. Even then in this modern society, they always say like that, Sometimes those who have not reached the 18, if they commit some mistake, their punishment is very less. The same Mandipya rule is coming down. So this is the story. But none indeed can overcome the sway of time. The death is inevitable. So Kala, this was one day the Vidura, he went and met the Yudhishthira, Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, he was living very comfortably with the help or the support of the Yudhishthira. And this old man, he was the cause of everything. But after losing everything, still he was thinking that I should survive. He was the born blind. He made so many mistakes. And so many people were killed just because of him. One man take a wrong decision and millions they suffer. Do you think they should not get the punishment? They will. So Dhritarashtra, he suffered in that way. And afterwards, he went and said to Dhritarashtra, because he was his brother, "O king, bad times are await. Leave home and possessions. The time spirit, Yama, is fast approaching." Now we should know Vidura was the Yama. The Vidura, he has realized the self. That same power has come back to him. I think the curse was over. Now Vidura understood that these people were my brothers, I should go and help them. So how? By telling them the truth. Sa esha Bhagavan Kala Sarvesham na samagataha. Na means us. So the Bhagavan, that Kala, he is coming because the Yama, he is coming, and the death, he is approaching. Get ready. Sometimes some people they say, the fast, the grey hair comes over here near to the ear, not on the head directly. And that as if whispering to our ear, time is up, get ready. So that is very, very important. So we must know when we should do what, but we go on clinging to the life. We go on changing our this thing and that thing and go on thinking, I am going to leave. So that is wrong. So Esha Bhagavan Kala. The Bhagavan Kala means the Yama. Sarvesham, into each and every one. Na samagataha. He is coming for each and every one. Vidura understood that the Dhritarashtra was very much attached to the worldly pleasure. And to cut his bond, Vidura slashed him with the very strong words. He reminded him his misdeeds and how shamelessly he was surviving. He told him, look at yourself. Your father, brothers, son, friends, all have been killed. And you have also become very old. Pitri, Bhatri, Suhit, Putra, Hatasti, Vigatam, Vayaha, Atmacha, Jaraya, Gantha. Atmacha means you also. Jaraya, Gastha, Paradehim, Upasase. And you are now living in somebody's house. And who is that somebody? You know who is to come to give the food? Bhima. And Bhima never liked him. Yudhishthira, he was a very kind-hearted person. He used to come and used to talk to that old man. But Bhima used to come and throw the food to him. Hey, eat that. Like that. That was the insult every day Bhima used to do to him. And when Vidura lamented, Aho Mahiyashi Janto, Jibi Tasha Yaya Bhavan, oh wonder of wonders, how strong people's clinging to life. The people don't like to die. They're constantly clinging. But they will die. They will die. If we understand that truth, many things can be solved. Attachment will go. I have done my job. Whatever came before me, I have performed perfectly. Now I am withdrawing my mind. But we don't practice how to withdraw the mind, so we suffer. We only practice right from our birth how to go and grab, how to enjoy the worldly things. Now at the age of 70, 80, when the body is not giving that strength, when the mind is also not that much alert, but in the subconscious mind, the desire to enjoy still survives because we do not know anything. That is the reason one should practice spirituality when he is young or she is young. Very wrongly people say, why you are going to the ashram? You are not yet 50. But after 50, even if you go, I don't know who can help you. So this happened because the physically and mentally one should be strong to understand this. This is very subtle and so strong to cut the bondage. So the brother has come to help the brother. That is, Vidura, he is reminding the Yudhishthira his sinful acts. You should not live in this way. This is disrespectful for you. When the Sri Ramakrishna passed away, he told Ma Saradamani Devi, maybe some other people, my devotees, will take you to their house and ask you to stay. Don't go. You should leave into my room, your husband's room, and you have the thing over there is yours. Do not stretch your hand to receive anything. That was the advice. Do not stretch your hand to receive anything from anyone. Rather, if possible, put the hand like this to give. So he was showing you should not put the hand in this way, rather you put the hand in this way so that you can give. Self-respect. If a human being loses the self-respect, it's just animal. So that is exactly what, very strong words, Vidura, he said. And he said that you and your sons persecuted the Pandavas in so many ways, setting fire to their house, poisoning them, humiliating their wife, wrongfully snatched away their kingdom and wealth, and now you are living with their support. Asubhi kyat. Why to live like this? Asubhi kyat. Why to live like this? Then the Vidura said, Yah sakat parato beha jata nirveda atmavan hridi kritva harim gehat prabharjetsa naruttama. It is in the 13th chapter, 27 verse, it says, he is the best among the men who, having installed Hari, the God, in his heart, lived all bondages and endured the life of renunciation and self-control. Renunciation and self-control. What I am renouncing? My ego. And ego is the attachment. And what I am doing, practicing? Self-control. So these are the two practices from the very beginning one should do. I have seen the parents, not knowingly, but and the custom and the civilization like that, they will never allow the children to. I have the bucket full of candies. The children, they find is very interesting. They like to grab, they like to take, but immediately the parents will say, no, one only you can take. And before that, you should take the permission of the Swamiji. And if you take all, then what others will take? So we learn as a human being. And what is that we are learning? Self-control. This self-control we learn from the beginning, not knowing that way that this is self-control. Then the proper dresses, you cannot just go like this and that, because you have to control yourself. And suppose somebody is behaving very peculiarly, you should not react, because you have to have the self-control. The self-control, we are all the time we are having, practicing. The one who is best in it, we call him very good person, a cultured man, self-controlled person. But at the same time, if you have the renunciation of what? Renunciation of ego. If I give my ego, it's someone coming to us and said, this is very difficult, if you are doing like this, it will be really harmful to many people. I read a story long back in the Reader Digest. So there's the President of America, and the file was going on. Then on some desk, he saw that the President has given some suggestions, and he commented over there on the file itself, this man has not in capacity to run the grocery shop. And he was the President. The others thought, oh, now he will be fired, he will get the punishment. But no, when the President saw that, immediately called him and said, can you please tell me what else we can do? And he said, if we do it this way, it will be for the benefit of our citizens, for the benefit of the taxpayers. We can do like this, we can do like this. He accepted all those suggestions. Why not? Because his suggestions is going to be very good for the society, and the society will give me all credit. But only in between, if I am a little egoistic, whatever I have thought that is the last, I am not going to accept your views. So that what happened. So we have to understand that also. Hridi kitva harim gehat. So we are giving the mind, the ego, where it will go. I, where it will go. We cannot simply say, go away. It is not. It will be there. From the birth it is there. So how to? So we say, I am the servant of God. I am the son of God. I am the devotee of God. So I keep that Hari, the God within my soul, within my heart, and I give up the ego. And also practice self-control. Realizing the folly of the mundane life, now Dhritarashtra entered into the jungle. This Vidura acted as a guru. What the guru does? This only. He goes and tells, these are the things which you should not continue, because this will be harmful. Give away, slowly, slowly, give away. If you read the stories of Sri Ramakrishna, the parables of Sri Ramakrishna, very funny but very interesting stories are there. But that way, slowly one should withdraw the mind and inspired with the words and understanding the folly of life, the Dhritarashtra entered into the jungle, and he was followed by whom? Who followed Dhritarashtra? Who can say? Gandhari. Gandhari was a wonderful character, and she was married to the Dhritarashtra. But when she was married, the young lady, she was coming from Gandhara. Gandhara, that now it is the Middle East, now they say. From there, because the India was up to that. So she came from the Gandhara, the king of Gandhara's daughter. And she was thinking, I am going to marry a very powerful king. And the king of the Hastinapur, the Delhi. So she came with great hope. And her brother also came along with her, Shakuni. But after coming, she understood that her husband is a blind person, and at the same time, he is not the real king. He is just ruling on behalf of his brother. But even then, she said, okay, this is my fate. God has given me this. I will also. And I should not have the eye. And from then onwards, all through her life, she closed her eyes. She never opened it, only once or twice for some special reason, and practiced, followed the Dhritarashtra just like a shadow. Ardhangini, in every step she was there, and followed by her queen, and spend the rest of his life in prayer and meditation. Hearing this, the news of their passing away, Yudhishthira became very perturbed. Friends, we will conclude after this. This is a very interesting way Narada, another great sage, he will tell, and here we will learn a very good teaching. Narada gave him a wonderful reply. Yudhishthira was telling who sent him there. So he was angry with the Vidura, etc., etc. He was emotional. The Narada came and told, so creature without arm, that's the animals, are the food of the creatures with arms, the human. Fearless, feetless being, that means the vegetation, are the food of the four-footed creatures, the animals. The smaller creatures are the food of the creatures with arms. The feetless beings, vegetation, are the food of the four-footed creatures. Smaller creatures are the food of the bigger one. Nature has made ample arrangement for food for all. You need not to be anxious about your relatives. So death is obvious. So that is exactly what he was going to tell. Narada gave him this way, ahastani sahastat nama, apadani chatushpadam, fulguni tatra mahatam, jiva jivasya jivanam. Jiva jivasya jivanam. It goes on constantly in this way. That is the system that the Lord has given, God has given. That means death is inevitable. So naturally we think, oh, what will happen to us if death is inevitable, etc., etc. And why we suffer? Some people, they will be emotional, they will say, so why we should eat these, kill these, this and that. Sometimes they talk like that. Now, he is giving the answer to that. Then Narada expressed the truth. Tad idam Bhagavan Rajan ek atma atmanam swadrik antarata bhati pashyatam mayaya urudha. So, antara bhati pashyatam mayaya urudha. Now, who are all these? Now, so painful. The people are eating the animals, and the animals are eating the grasses, and the bigger one killing the smaller one. It goes on. What a picture! Terrible. But actually, who are all those? This is the truth. Here it says, all this universe is the Lord's alone. Where we find all these? It is only Lord alone and nothing else. He is the soul of all souls. The self-revealing spirit needs no other revealer. He is the Swayam Prakasha. He is what shines at the within and without. And he has become as many by his mysterious power, Maya. Tam Mayaya Urudha. He has become many with the power of the Maya. Exactly the Vedanta. We are studying a book of devotion, Bhagavatam. But we find the teaching of the Narada is nothing but the highest Vedanta. What actually we see so many ways, so many varieties, names and forms, and nothing but expressions of the same consciousness, same Brahman. So here we end today. In the Bhagavata, through the stories, and these are all not only stories, facts also, because it is also the history. The Ramayana, Mahabharata, Bhagavatam, these are all the histories of India. The Indian people, they give in the history I am not touching all the subjects and the chapters, giving all details of the kings and their ancestors and the predecessors. Big list. And also the geography, from the king is going from here to there. Where was this kingdom and where was that kingdom? So geography, the history, the sociology, the economy, and also the spirituality and religion, all combined together, Ramayana, Mahabharata and Bhagavatam. So sometimes people, they confuse and thinking these are all spiritual books. Of course it is spiritual book, but this is also the history. And here we find that all Hindus, they always think whatever we see is nothing but the Brahman. And that's why we cannot hate anyone. We cannot hate anyone being a Hindu. Maybe others are doing, because their knowledge has not come up to this level. But after this, if we go and repeat the same mistake, following the steps of their other people who are making the mistake, then where will go? Our greatest call, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is the Hinduism. The whole universe is your own, your kutumba, your relatives. From here we understand this, that God has become everything. So we should also try to understand and try to live our life accordingly. So this is the excellent philosophy that has come in the human society, and slowly, human beings should understand this. And there will be no differences with the differences. Thank you very much. Let us chant this mantra and we conclude. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Maruta Stunnanti Divyai Stabai Vedai Sangha Padakramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Navidu Sura Suragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha. In the beginning, in the first sloka, we were thinking a form of that supreme knowledge, and the second verse we conclude that He is everywhere without any form. And the whole gamut is Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma.